Okay, welcome to this video. We're going to linearize the first data set together. You've got an experiment, so you investigated how the diameter, that's the dependent variable, how the diameter of a tree, how big it is a function of the tree's age. So the age is the independent variable. You look, here we go, we have age as the independent variable, measured in years, diameter, the dependent variable, measured in meters. Now, this value has uncertainty. All of these measurements have the same uncertainty, which is 0.1 years, plus or minus 0.1 years. That's the absolute uncertainty. These measurements of diameter all have the same absolute uncertainty. There it is. Notice that I've rounded these values correctly. For example, I haven't done 5.05 because then my measurement would be more precise than the uncertainty, and the two have to be rounded to the same place. So it's correct to do just 5.0. Okay. We have to make a raw data graph, a log-log graph. Everywhere it says, if you see semi-log graph, ignore that. We're not doing this. The instructions are also shown here, in case we need to check. So first, let's make a raw data graph. It's always dependent variable against independent variable, which means you need the dependent variable on the y-axis. So you go to Insert, then you click on Charts, you choose the scatter chart, that's the symbol for the scatter chart, scatter graph, and you want the first option with no lines. Okay, you can delete whatever title is there, click and then delete. We're going to have to right click and choose Select Data. You add a new series. A series is just an XY pair. Your name, don't worry about the series name. For the Y values, I've clicked on the Y values field. I'm just going to click and drag all of the values, and look, I'm only getting measurements. I'm not including the uncertainty or the axis, or the column heading. I'm not including the column heading of tree age. Then I go to Y values, I highlight the 1, and I hit backspace to delete. So to get rid of the 1 and then choose your Y values, only the numbers, the measurements themselves, not the uncertainty, not the column heading. I hit OK. Oops, there's one here. You see that? That series, it's there already. I'm going to highlight that and then hit the Remove button. So highlight, remove. Now I have just the one series. Okay. So there's my data. Kind of looks like a graph we might have seen before. You might be able to guess what that relationship is. But first, let's insert, and then, oh no, I'm sorry. I have to click the graph. You see that plus sign? The plus sign allows me to add things like axis titles and so forth. So let me move it over. In case you don't see the plus sign, you have to move it to the left a little bit. You hit the plus. We have axes. Let's add axis titles, and chart title, and error bars. Axis titles, chart title, error bars. I'm just going to call this raw data. Okay, now I come over and I click once to enter the box, then I double click or triple click to highlight the entire thing. On the y-axis I put diameter, and the variable is d. The units are meters. On the x-axis I put tree age, which is represented by an A, and the unit is years. I'm not putting the uncertainty in the axis title. That's different from maybe your bio or your chem class. Next, I click on a horizontal error bar, and then I right-click, and I choose Format Error Bar. Every single horizontal uncertainty, well, horizontal is tree age, see that? So look back over to tree age in your chart. Every value has the same uncertainty of plus or minus 0.1 year. So it's a fixed value of 0.1, and I'm all set. Then I go to the, let's see, fixed value. Did I click fixed value? I click fixed value, and I make sure it says 0.1. There it is, that's good. And now I click on, and look, the uncertainty is, those error bars are too small, the horizontal error bars. So next I click on the vertical error bar. You can right-click, do Format, and this is a fixed amount. Every vertical measurement, every Y measurement of diameter, has the same uncertainty, a fixed value of 0.05. So I do fixed value of 0.05, and I'm all set. Wow, small error bars, huh? Whoever did this experiment was doing pretty well. Okay, I'm going to move that down. What's my next step? I've made my raw data graph. Now I take the log of all dependent variable values, and I take the log of all IV values, independent variable values. Alright, so I do equals log open parentheses. Here's my first independent variable value, and I hit enter. And I'm going to copy those down so I can click the little, see that little corner box, and when you hover over it, you see the crosshairs. You can copy that down. Likewise, equals log. Here's the first diameter, and I'm going to Control C and then highlight Control V. That's another way to copy a formula down. Now these values, I'm going to give these a reasonable number of sig figs, maybe 3 sig figs, 3 or 4. And I'm going to center. So in this column here, I've taken log of tree age, which is A, and tree age is in years. So that's how you show this. Center. Here I have log of diameter D, and that's in, meters. And center, center. Okay. Now I want to make a graph with these two. If you highlight the two columns, whatever's farthest left will be your x values, whatever farthest right will be your y values. This happens to work out, that's how we want it. So I'm just going to click Insert, and then I hit the charts, right? And I chose the graph with no lines, the scatter plot. Okay, let me move this over. Alright, I have to add title. I'm testing for power function. That's what I'm doing. I have to add axis titles, so I click the plus, axis titles. I want a trend line on this one as well. Now let me click the arrow here for trend line, because I'm going to want to, linear, more options. I want to display the equation for the trend line on the chart. So I choose that box near the bottom, and here's my equation. Okay. Now let me add my axis titles. This is log of area, on the y-axis is log of diameter in meters. And here we have log of age in years. And if you want to check that, you can click a data point. Purple is your x values, blue is your y values. So x values, yep, log of age is on the x-axis. Bam. My title is correct. Alright, now the slope is 0.5057. Hey, that's pretty close to 0.5. So I think the power for my x values is 0.5. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take age, and I'm going to raise it to the 0.5 power. And I'm going to measure this in years to the 0.5 power. So I highlight the 0.5. I go to font, this little font arrow in the corner here. So I'm going to click that corner box right there, and then I choose superscript. Okay. I do the same thing here, font, superscript, okay. And I'm going to center. So now I hit equals, and I take this age, this first age value, and I raise it to the 0.5 power. Right, like that. Like that. Then I copy this down. I'm going to have to give it some sig figs, but we don't have to worry about that just yet. And let me move this graph over. And now I make a new graph. Now I'm going to show you a trick. Click the white space here, and then hit Control, okay? And while I'm holding my mouse and I'm holding Control, now I let go of my mouse, I still have Control down. I'm going to click on one of the data points. And when I click on one of the data points, look at what shows up. My purple, my blue. Now I want the same exact graph, but my final graph I have, instead of tree age on the x-axis, I have the modified x-axis, age to the 0.5. Right? Now let me take away some of these decimals for the moment. Okay. So now we have tree age, not just age, but age to the 0.5. Age to the 0.5, superscript, and this is measured in years to the 0.5, superscript. And this is my process data, or you could say my linear function. We're going to add a trend line to this. So you can call this process data. If you prefer, you could call it final function. But we want to add a trend line to this graph. So you click on the graph, you see the plus there, hit the plus. We want trend line, there it is. Now you could right click on it. You can use the arrow here to find the to show the equation, or you can right click on the trend line, hit format, and bam, display equation. You are all set. Now we're going to have to add error bars to this, and once we have our uncertainty, you're going to be rounding these values according to the uncertainty, but we're going to do that in a separate video.